So it's my pleasure to have again on the show Judith Collins, a world-renowned aura reader, author of multiple books. She's been on the ABC, the BBC, she's been interviewed all over the place because she has an amazing talent that she was born with. And if you'd like to go back and look at the other interviews, or give you more information about that. But today is all about automatic writing. So welcome, Judith.
My pleasure.
So for those who are unfamiliar, what is automatic writing?
Automatic writing is a channel that links the etheric layers of the aura, taps into the astral layer of the aura with universal energy. What it does, it aligns the human mind with the psyche and with universal energy, and they all become one to allow inspiration, enlightenment, um, messages to come through. Yeah. That's
And
it. Over.
and that's it over. That's in a
No,
nutshell.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know you are. But no, that's a really good explanation for it. So what are the benefits of automatic writing then? If we're going to get into alignment and do this, why would one want to do this?
Well, automatic writing has been around in the spiritual new age world for at least 30, 40 years as extra skill to add to your bow, right? Becomes an extra string of something you can do. But it's more important than that. The aura shows insights into why it exists and why it has existed in the lives of human beings since we learned to walk on 2 feet. Yes.
Mm. The
Automatic
aura shows,
writing, whether it
yeah.
be graphics on the wall of a cave, or whether or not it would be the first language written on stone. Why it's important is because it allows who we are, our soul, incarnated in the human form. It allows us to align all in one and to open our own level of creative thinking, commonly known in the New Age world as intuition. Yes, yes,
Yeah, and because this is, we don't have five senses, we do have six.
yes,
So the
yes.
intuition is the sixth sense, and it's
That's
not
right.
our imagination, it
Mm,
is
mm,
a real thing.
yes, but I
And
mean, if you look at the likes of inventors around the world,
hmm,
playwrights,
mhm.
authors, scientists, they've all had experiences of automatic writing, sitting down at a desk thinking, if only I could discover this, if only I can, and they start to write a few little notes, and then they've written notes on several different pieces of paper. Then all of a sudden it all starts pouring out. The
Yeah.
process takes somewhere between, depending on how developed you are, somewhere between 3 minutes to anything up to a half an hour to work.
Yes.
The When people start to learn to, in a course or anything, they start to learn to do automatic writing, they're told that anything that comes on the page is taken as gospel, but it's not, because we have two things in the human mind. We have our pride, right?
Mm,
That we want to be good at something, or
mm,
that we want to prove that we can do it. Now,
mm.
that's not a crime, it's not a sin. It's there, and it's in all of us. The other thing that's there is make believe. Um, the creative mind, the mind running around saying, this must mean that, and this must mean that. Oh, they must be extraterrestrials if they're saying that. Or they must be holy saints from ancient times. I don't know how many times over the years, over the many years I've done this, I have met so many reincarnations of Francis of Assisi. I've met them in every country I've worked. And that poor man, he must have split himself into millions of cells and spread them around
Mm.
because the human mind likes a sense of community, number one, and it likes a sense of belonging. And so this is where our ability to forcefully connect one thing with another, thinking that it makes sense, which comes into the form of make-believe. So to help people go through the processes of automatic writing, because why is it important for anybody who's watching this today, or anyone who comes across this video in months or years to come? Why is it important? It's important because we need to enlighten ourselves, because once we enlighten ourselves, it frees us from emotional pain, anger, disappointment, resentments, depression. It frees us up. And once you can open that channel, then you align your human mind, right? You align the brain with the psyche and universal energy. That happens automatically. You don't do it. It happens automatically. But it stimulates. Science has tested people and found that it actually stimulates their brain, stimulates their thinking, stimulates the muscle of the brain. So that's interesting, isn't it?
It is very interesting.
Yes.
So
basically, how do people do it? How do you begin? Why would you want to do it? That's the question. Why would you want to do automatic writing? Are you looking to connect with a deceased relative? You can do that.
Okay.
Are you wanting to develop more intuition, say a level of clairvoyancy? You can do that. If you want to find out who your spirit guide is, who your soul is traveling with, the members of your family, who are they on a soul level, you can do that.
Right.
But you have to make sure that you get into the habit of it. Now, you can train yourself. It's quite easy. It's quite easy. Anybody can do this. First of all, you find a quiet moment and a quiet space. That's very important.
Okay.
Once you do that, you make sure that everything that you had in your mind to rush, get the washing off the line, cut up the vegetables, get the dinner ready, make sure all that's done so that you get a quiet space where your mind is not thinking that you've got to get this done in a hurry because you've got to go and pick the kids up from school. That type of thing, right?
Yes.
So find a quiet space. Doesn't have to be for long, 15 minutes. And the difficulty is for we human beings in this busy, ridiculously busy world that we live in, which is all around technology, we've got to find 3 times a day to do it because it's a training. There's a common thread that runs between the human existence and the spiritual existence, and that is a simple thing: nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
It's true.
So getting into the format and the habit, it will come through. So the way to do it is to just get yourself a notepad or an exercise book. I use a spring-loaded exercise book, and you use 3 moments in a day. That's very important. 3 times a day. Very, very important, because we come into different vibrations at different times of the day. So if you can figure out 1 in the morning sometime before 9, and then 1 somewhere between 11 and 2, and then or 3, and then some space round about the 8 to 9 o'clock, something like that. If you can find those times, you're only going to find 15 minutes. That's all. 15 minutes. So what is that? 45 minutes in a whole day. That's all you got to find. So as simple as that. You find a quiet space and you ask the family, don't disturb me or you're in trouble.
Pets
so
out
please
of the
don't
room
disturb
too.
me, right?
Yep.
Take the phone off the hook, take your electronics out of the room, sit there nice and quietly. Put some instrumental music on if you want to. Nothing with words because it infiltrates the mind and starts thinking. So instrumental music, whatever it is. calm yourself down, do something. Don't sit down straight away to write, do something. And then sit down after the music's finished, sit down, get your pen, put it on your paper, close your eyes, measure your breath. Is your breath racing? Is it panicking, overexcited? Because it has to be calmed.
Mm.
Once that happens, you pick up your pen and you don't think. You just write whatever is coming off. It might be scrambled eggs for lunch tomorrow. It might be, oh, I forgot to buy the dishwashing liquid. And it can be all that. That's the mind emptying out. So after you've done this for about 3 to 5 minutes, right, you get through the 3 minutes of the mind processing, then you might find there's a sentence or a word, something that repeats itself, a name, an address, a phrase, but you don't focus on it.
Mm.
This is the hardest thing for people to do. They think, I wonder what that means. And then you break the spell of being in that space, right?
Yeah,
So
breaking the
what you do
zone.
is you
Yeah.
just write.
Mm-hmm.
You just write. You can get a little egg timer, set it on 15 minutes, and then start. And then we'll tell you to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you do that, you close the book. Close the book up.
Yeah.
Go away and do something for 60 minutes to 2 hours. Then come back with a highlight pen and maybe 1 or 2 different color highlight pens. Come back and then see if anything repeats itself, or if there's a word that's unusual, or a phrase that's unusual, or perhaps a name that has appeared, information that's appeared. Highlight it. And don't dwell on it. Close the book, right? Close the book. Because the mind that wants to work it all out, get immediate answers, have great results, that mind is the enemy, right?
Yes.
So the thing is that you allow yourself to write, close the book up, don't read it, come back to it an hour to 2 hours later, highlight any words, and then get ready for your next session several hours later and do that again. And the same process over again, 3 minutes to 15 minutes max. That's it.
And you ponder the
On
words.
average, I do about 7.
Okay. And do we ponder the words that we've highlighted? Or
No,
just
we
let it go
close the
and
book
start
up.
fresh?
Yep,
Close the book
close the
up.
book up quickly before the mind
Yeah.
starts analysing everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes,
I found that when I've written a book, as you know, and for the viewers who don't know, it's called Discover Your Hidden Potential.
yeah,
And I had moments of automatic writing there, and it was
yeah,
quite it was really exciting, unusual. But one night, yeah, like you said, 30 minutes up out of bed early hours of the morning, and it just spilled out onto the paper.
yeah,
And I remember one night, because it happened a few times, I had written down all of this information, and I had it because by this stage I had pen and paper by the bed, and I put it in my diary. Said, when I have time, I'll look at that information because I was busy. Exactly what you said, children, cooking, working. Months later, I came back to that information that was tucked away in the safest spot in my diary because I thought now I'm ready to ponder that, and it's got to be for my book because, well, Spirit told me to write a book. When I opened it up and I looked at it, ready to sort of make sense of it, maybe weave it into something, there was nothing to be done. It was perfect.
yes,
It
yes,
was a technique and it was step by step for the
yep,
reader.
yep,
And it was profound. And
yes,
when you
yes,
said, an unusual word,
yep,
that for me is the unusualness of the words, is confirmation to me that it's not coming from my imagination. And
yep.
now that leads me the segue into the next question. How do
Mhm.
we know, Judith, if the information is from our imagination or it's not?
We don't have to know. We
All
don't
right.
have to know. What we have to do is we have to go through that exercise for anything up to 3 months. and you'll get pieces and pieces and pieces. A little bit will come through. This is for someone starting and doing that for the first time.
Yeah.
Say, for instance, we've got a young widowed wife, 28, 35 years old, little children, misses a husband, wants the comfort of knowing him, that he's there. She can do this, but it's going to take 6 weeks, 3 months for it to really come through purely. We
Okay.
have to get the, as I said, there's no change without change. So
That's
we're
true.
training the mind to allow the automatic writing to come through. That's
We're
what we're training the
giving
mind
it
to
an
do.
opportunity. So,
Yes, that's right. That's
yep.
right. And the mind will do it because the mind is easily trained.
Yes.
We all know how to hold a knife and fork. We all know how to go to the toilet. We all know how to, there, that's it.
And
We
this,
can train, we can train, we can train.
yeah.
So we're training the mind
And it's
to
innate in
allow
us.
it to move over.
Yes, and sorry, Judith, to cut in, but it's
That's
innate
right.
in us too. Like it is part of who we are to do this. It's
Yes.
just we're kept so busy with societal conditioning that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to become in alignment with the mind and the all that is.
Well,
And
I'll
so,
tell you what happens when
yeah,
you align the whole lot. The whole
yes,
lot.
please, yes.
The second layer of the etheric aura is where the colors begin, right? And those colors can come through to the physical. They can go to universal. They can interact with all different realms. And what happens when the alignment takes place and automatic writing is working almost on demand? You get up, you're fresh, you sit down, you pick up your pen, you write a few words, and then within seconds it starts pouring out, right? Or minutes, which it seems a long time when you're doing it. Minutes, it all pours out, right? Now, what happens in the aura is there's a ribbon that becomes impenetrable. This is very important to know that in the aura, there's a mixture of cobalt blue, right? And lilac and purple pink. These colors come together. They're all significant in their human form and in their spiritual form and in their higher consciousness and in their universal connections. These colors are very important. When they come together and they begin to work together as a language, communicating. Now, they form an impenetrable ribbon, and that ribbon comes around the torso, wraps around the torso, and comes into the hands. So it's part of how you conduct yourself. Once that happens, automatic writing becomes part of who you are, your path of discovery, your self-enlightenment, your connection to loved ones, your connection to your own higher self, your connection to universal energy if you're a healer. And if you're a clairvoyant, that's what happens. If you're doing readings for people and so on, that's what happens. That becomes impenetrable. So therefore it cannot be broken because you have spent time training yourself. You are not going to forget how to pick up a knife and fork and cut your dinner, are you? You're not going to
No.
forget that because it's there. It's there. You're not
Yep.
going to forget how to go to the toilet either, are you?
No.
No, because it's there.
Automatic.
You're not going to forget how to put your clothes on, button up your shirt, because it's automatic. And why do we call it automatic writing?
Makes
That's
sense.
the term, because
Makes
it
sense.
becomes an automatic process of enlightenment. It's not a mystical type of process. It's a repetitive, mundane process when you're developing it. It's 3 times a day, 7 days a week until it all starts flowing. For some people, it might start in 2 or 3 weeks. Other people, it might take 6 months. It depends on what's going on. Now, this is important to know.
Okay.
Anybody out there who is going through emotional trauma, mental stress,
Mhm.
automatic writing is not blocked by anything we humans can go through.
Mhm.
So if you're home alone and you're wondering what your next step is and you're wanting guidance, then automatic writing, once you develop that skill, will give you insights. So it
It's
can
wonderful.
be a self-counseling, and how it works with that ribbon is tapping into the human mind, into practicality, logic, common sense, ethics, all of
Mm.
that.
Mm.
But it's also tapping into the higher consciousness, which is connected to a whole lot of other dimensions. So there's an influence coming in from there. But
Mm.
it's also stimulating your intuition so that you get greater insight into what's happening around you. So I've taught automatic writing for a long, 30 odd years, 35 years, right?
Mhm.
And I always say to people, don't see it as a mystical, psychic, clairvoyant, spiritual process. See it as a mundane skill, just like your parents taught you to walk.
Mm.
They held you, didn't they? And
Yeah.
let you walk one step at a time, and you fell down and they picked you up and they cuddled you because you cried. Then they got you up again. This is all repetitive stuff. And this is
Yes.
how people should understand it. Get an exercise book. You might find that you need 6 exercise books. One exercise book might be filled with gobbledygook, just anything that's come out. You
Yeah.
might write a word. I can remember years ago, I was looking for some type of information. I thought I'll get it out of automatic writing, and I had a page of apples, pears, take the bin out, petrol in the car. I had several pages of all of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to the automatic writing bit. And it's because the mind is being trained. It's being trained. And
That's
if you
it.
don't do automatic writing on a regular basis and you go back to it, um, it's like anything.
Like riding a bike.
You might just have to drive it a little bit around the block before it starts up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And can I ask, and obviously you don't have to answer anything you don't want to, but have there been any profound nuggets of information that you would like to share that you have discovered or tapped into through automatic writing?
Through automatic writing, it's allowed me to look at musicians, pop artists, singers, actors, writers, scientists, doctors. It's allowed me to see where their skill. These are people who have made a name for themselves. It's allowed me to understand where their skill comes from. Yes, I've had those discoveries because automatic writing doesn't just link to your own enlightenment in a spiritual sense. It's enlightenment into fields of discovery,
Yeah,
scientific advancements,
yes.
medicines, techniques of surgery, new
Inventions.
inventions of
Yeah,
machines. It's tapped into everything,
that's it.
everything.
Yeah.
So the discovery is in automatic writing is that it's a process for the creative self.
Mm. And we are creative beings.
We are creative beings. Even though, some people have said to me, oh, well, I can't do anything creative. I don't paint. I can't do any sort of things about, sculpturing, or I can't do, and, I can't act, and I can't sing. I can't sing. And they think, well, I'm not creative.
Mm.
And I say to them, well, you get out of bed every morning and you have a routine. That's creative.
That's it. It doesn't have to be the arts as
It
such.
doesn't have to be the arts.
No.
You can be um, oh, I can give you an example. I was waiting for the weather report on the news, right? I never watch the news because I won't fill my brain with that stuff, right?
Same.
And right at the end of the news, I was walking back and forth to television, and they were celebrating a footballer, and they'd won a game somewhere. I think it was Canberra. Anyway, they won a game. And I looked across at this footballer, and I saw in him this process of automatic writing. Now, the process of automatic writing to him wasn't words, it was strategies. It was a plan of, if I do this, I do that. One man's there, one man's there, one man's there. And that's where it comes from. So it doesn't have to be writing a book. It can be just enlightening. You might decide that you want to take up art, and the teacher says to you that you've got an eye for colour, or you've got an eye for shadows, or you've got an eye for light. They're all important in painting and drawing, right? They're also important in lots of other things too. Interior design, architecture.
Absolutely.
They're all important to that.
Yeah.
Shadows and lights, very important in architecture.
Yes.
So automatic writing process cuts across all trades, all services, everything.
And I'm really curious too about the ribbon. When did you discover the ribbon? Were you watching somebody in the process of automatic writing, or did you discover it around yourself?
I discovered the ribbon approximately, I could make my guess could be wrong, 60 years ago. 60 years ago.
And when
my parents were heavily into the arts. We never went to a sports game in our life ever, but we went to photographic exhibitions, sculptures, we went to art galleries, we went to musical theatre, we went to drama theatre, we went to comedies. Yes, we did all those kinds of things. And I saw it we went to a photography exhibition in Sydney, and that's when I saw it. There were two photographers there, and of course, what do they work with? Shadow and light. Yeah, and I saw it in them, and that 60 years ago.
Okay, and then you saw repeat, and recognise what it was.
Yes.
And I should mention too that your website, you've written a little article on there about automatic writing, and you've got wonderful articles on your website that you continuously add to. So if anyone is interested, go to yourhumanaura.com. Thank you, Judith Collins, for your time, and thank you for watching this video all about automatic writing. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. All the best.